Hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Mike Francesa podcast, part of the Bet Rivers Network. We join you as we put the finishing touches on the Subway Series for this year, and we now have a week to play before the All-Star game. The Yankees came into this game today, obviously, having lost 6 straight, having lost 16 of 22, reeling, absolutely reeling. And let's be honest, the Mets came in having won 2 against the Brewers and then won the first 2 games of the series, miraculously considering their pitching woes. This game today should have been a rocking chair game for the Yankees. They had Fried on the mound. They were going to be faced by a bullpen game, and let's be honest, not even a complete bullpen game. I mean, I don't know if Diaz would have thrown if the Mets had a lead or not an inning tonight. We don't know that. It's debatable. Stanek wasn't going to pitch. This was a bunch of mediocre at best relievers, some minor leaguers, some mediocre relievers who the Yankees were going to face. So you figure, okay, let Fried put up, 7 spotless innings and the Yankees, get the bats out, hit a couple of home runs, and, open up an 8-9 run lead and coast home. Well, it didn't happen that way. It didn't happen that way at all. And the Yankees really were life and death to win this ball game. They needed some stellar plays out of their defense to win this game, and obviously their defense recently has let them down. Fried gave you a battle today. He battled. He overthrew his fastball. He threw way too many pitches. Marte gave him fits, and those were tough at bats. He also gave up singles to the bottom of the order. Really, LeMahieu should have been able to play McNeil's ball. And that inning turned into the inning. He gave up a couple of runs, and he threw a lot of pitches. So he just came out to pitch to Nimmo in the 6th and hit him. So the Yanks had to get 12 outs out of the bullpen. And you have Williams for the 9th. You can even hold your breath there. He was good today in the 9th, but you would have held your breath there. And the reason the Mets did not take charge of this game was because of some double plays and because of the Yankees' leather. Judge making a nice catch to end an inning. And then the play of the year and the play that I think saved this game for the Yankees. Bellinger in left field today. Why was he in left field? He was in left field. And a hot swinging Dominguez was out of the lineup because he wanted to put defense at third base and left field for Fried, figuring I'm going to go with the defense first. I'm going to score runs off the Met bullpen. I'm going to go with defense today. And going with Praza, and he said Chisholm was banged up. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. But I think he really wanted to play Praza at third today just to get the defense in, even though Praza's an automatic out. He wanted defense in left and defense at third to help Fried out, to make it easier on Fried. Now, Fried struggled, obviously, with command at times, and he couldn't put batters away, which is why he threw so many pitches. He also gave up a lot of dinkers and dunkers. But that game is there after Fried's out of the game, and they still need 12 outs. That game is there for the Mets when Bellinger makes really the play of the year. I mean, makes as good a play as you will see in the outfield. You will see it over and over again on a line drive from Soto. He makes a great shoestring catch, charging in, makes the shoestring catch, and then throws Lindor out at first base. Now, Lindor played it the right way, went halfway. He came back. I don't even know if the first base coach would have had time to tell him to get down. It was noisy. You probably couldn't have yelled it. You probably would have had to lie down, and then maybe you would have seen it. If not, he went back standing up, and he gets gunned out by Bellinger, who makes one of the great outfield double plays you will ever see, and I think saved the ball game with that play. Absolutely, because if Dominguez is in left field, that's either first and second, or it could be under his glove, and Soto could be on second, and Lindor could score. I mean, that was going to be a play that could turn into a nightmare with a Dominguez in left field. Bellinger, who is playing a rare game in left field, just 68th game of his career in left field. We know he's so versatile. He plays right, plays center, plays left, plays them all great. Professional hitter, very good ball player. The player I told you that I have the most faith in down the stretch other than Judge is Bellinger. I've told you that. He's a pro, and I think he's getting better rather than him cooling off like some other guys have. But that play, and then in the 8th inning, Goldschmidt, who even though he has slumped and he swung the bat better, he swung the bat better today. He kills lefties when he sees them, but made another play and turned it into an unassisted double play. So hard hit balls were turned into outs out of that bullpen, which saved their bacon and got them to the 9th inning when obviously there was some controversy. Torrens was pinch hitting for Senger, strike one, and then 2 pitches that were out of the strike zone were called strikes. Listen, he banged Judge out on a couple of borderline pitches. I thought the 3-1 pitch to Judge was borderline. The 3-2 pitch was a strike. But when you bang out Judge as an umpire, you're not afraid to bang out Torrens, okay? I can tell you that right now. And he had just banged Judge out from a 3-0 count, and he doesn't want to hear the other manager after that. I just banged out the best hitter in baseball. You're going to complain to me about your pitching and catcher? Give me a break. So it gets him. Marte looked like he got hurt after he killed Fried all day. Grounded out to third, and then Lindor struck out on a check swing. So the 6-4 lead, and the Yankees didn't build on it. Didn't build on it. Didn't hit every part of that bullpen. Didn't build on it when I thought they needed more runs. They got away with it because their defense showed up in the persons of Judge and especially Bellinger and Goldschmidt. Now, so the Yankees get a 6-4 win. They hold serve with Toronto, which won its 8th game in a row today. So they will get a day off tomorrow before they welcome Seattle and the Cubs in. So it's a competitive week, Seattle, and then a good Cub team to finish the first half of the season. Not the first half, but the All-Star game. It's going to be 100 games by the time they get there. The bottom line is, okay, the Yankees bullpen has been a nightmare. Williams gave them a good 9th inning today, which is a step in the right direction. Their defense lifted them out of trouble today. Fried battled. That's what he did. He left with a 5-2 lead. Obviously, he only gave them 5 innings. They would have liked 7 today. It didn't happen. He threw too many pitches, but he gave them a battle. But he left them exposed with a bullpen that had a 10 ERA in its last 8 games, having to get 12 outs. And they somehow were able to do that and win the game 6-4 today. So here's where the Yankees stand right now. Okay, they get a win today. Hey, it should have been an easy day for a win. It wasn't. It was another tough outing, but they got the W. They broke the 6-game losing streak. They can take a deep breath and enjoy their day off. But a couple of things have to happen immediately here, okay? One, they have to go out. Now that they lose Schmidt, they're going to have to go out and get a starting pitcher. We know that. But they're going to have to go out and fortify this bullpen in a big way. The loss of Cruz is dramatic. They're going to have to do that. But everyone's looking for bullpen help. Nobody more than the Mets is looking for bullpen help. Everybody's looking for bullpen help. It's not going to be easy to find. And this has to happen immediately. What you saw in this series, and it as just accentuating something we have been talking about for a long time now. The Yankees can no longer play LeMahieu at second base. He is a statue there. He hurt them dramatically in this series defensively. They have got to take Chisholm, who's not a good third baseman to begin with, and play him every day at second base. Peraza is not the answer. What you do with Peraza is you use him as a utility infielder and let him spell Volpe. And some days where Volpe hits anyway, it doesn't make any difference. Just put a good glove out there. Peraza can play shortstop in a pinch. You keep him as a utility man. He's a worthless hitter. We know that. That's fine. Okay. And you go out and get a third baseman. Now, the Yankees aren't going to get Suarez. Who's going to give them a guy, or they're going to pay through the nose for a guy who's got 28 home runs already this year, or whatever he's got at the moment, somewhere around there, some crazy number. I would get, and you've heard this name the last couple of years, I would make the trade for McMahon at third base. Colorado will get rid of him. The clean house. He's no longer going to be expensive for them. He would be completely revitalized in the Yankee lineup. He has got a Yankee Stadium swing. Is he going to be a great hitter? No. Is he going to be a good fielder? Yes. Is he going to be revitalized to get put from Colorado in the abyss to the Yankees? Yes. And you always bring guys in who match the stadium. He matches the stadium very well. That's who I would target as my third baseman. I'm not going to go pie in the sky and trying to get some big third baseman. I'm going to get a guy who's had a troubling year on a terrible team, and it's time to go. And this is the guy you get, and he's got the swing that is perfect for Yankee Stadium. He can defend well, and he'll be motivated and rejuvenated. And you put Chisholm where he belongs at second base. That has to happen immediately. The Yankees also have to balance off this roster. Okay, it gets clogged up the way they're trying to do things. I am not against giving Dominguez plenty of time. Okay. I'm going to worry about him defensively, but I can switch Grissom into the game when he's not playing. I can put Bellinger in left and move Grissom to center any night I want. Grisham's role is going to be fourth outfielder, but he's going to get plenty of at-bats as a fourth outfielder. You're going to have guys tired. You're going to have guys hurt. You're going to have Judge DH in games. You're going to give Bellinger days off. You're going to give him enough time. You're going to rotate the four outfielders. That's not a problem. What I would do with Rice and the Stanton situation, okay, is I would right now, you're going to give the Yanks are going to give Stanton a chance to play a lot. He doesn't play all the time, but I am not opposed at all to giving Rice a good amount of games. And remember, you can also rotate Bellinger into this mix at first base and put Dominguez and Grisham and Judge in the outfield on days when you want to do that also. But I would give Rice at bats at first base, and I would play Grisham not in a straight platoon, but I would play those guys, especially towards this as we go down the dog days of the season and look towards the postseason. I am not opposed to a platoon of Rice and Grisham at first base. Rice and Goldschmidt at first base. Goldschmidt kills left-handed pitching. He has been dreadful against right-handed pitching, except early in the season. Even his overall numbers the last, until today, he's hitting 150 in his last 30 games. He wasn't even, his OPS is in the fours. He was struggling mightily. You want to get Rice at bats. I don't want to get Rice a lot of at bats at catcher. You can give him some at bats at DH. So it gives you flexibility there, but open it up so that you don't have to carry extra people. You have four outfielders with Grisham as your fourth. You also can bring Bellinger into play first base if you want. And Rice can DH that day if you want to give Goldschmidt and Stanton a day off. If not, you have Stanton at DH, and you can play Goldschmidt against lefties, Rice against righties. There's nothing wrong with those guys platooning over the last 70 games of this regular season and into the postseason. Get the best of both of them. Put Chisholm at second. Bring in a guy like McMahon for third base. That means you can give Volpe a day off, play Peraza at short. You know what? There's days when Volpe is terrible offensively anyway, and you're going to upgrade at shortstop with Peraza at the position. He's not going to hit me. We know that. But he's only going to be there as a spot starter. And Grisham doesn't have to play every day. He's going to get enough at bats. And that will help you balance things off. And you're going to need extra help in the bullpen. There's no way around that. This bullpen is hurting in a big way, and it has got to be defined and identified before you get down the stretch of the season. You've got to have a bullpen humming before the season ends, because if you go in the postseason without a bullpen that is humming, you're not going to win. That's all there is. But there's nothing wrong with accentuating these guys' strengths, and there's nothing wrong with going to platoons if you have the right people to do it with. But it's time for DJ to leave the team. It's over. I'm sorry, it's over. They're not going to dump Stanton. I know people want to clear Stanton out. It's not going to happen. And they are going to play Stanton at DH in the postseason. Why? Because he's been a dynamic performer. I don't care what he does in the regular season. He's going to be in the lineup every day in the postseason until he proves he can't do it anymore. But LeMahieu is a different story. It's over. Forget his offense, okay, and the fact that he had a bad day today. I'm not even making it about today. What I'm making it about is he can't play in the field anymore. So put Chisholm at second and get yourself a third baseman. Make that move now and get it over with. And then you can define how you're going to use people. It's not that hard. Hey, and Dominguez and Grisham and Rice and Goldschmidt don't have to play every day. None of them do. The guys who have to play every day, you know who they are. And in the outfield, it's Judge and Bellinger. And Chisholm at second. And you're going to play Volpe most days at short. You have no way around that. And you get an everyday third baseman. You got Wells backed up by a backup catcher, and it's Wells most of the time. But you can utilize these guys and get them enough at bats, utilizing the roster the proper way. It's time to balance this roster off. And the first move that is critical is bringing in a third baseman and moving Chisholm to second base. That has to be done immediately for this team. Then you can go back and look. The Yankees are going to look for pitching, and more pitching. We know that. And they're right to do that because that's what it comes down to. Is Heel going to come back? I don't know. Okay? You already lost 3 pitchers. That's a lot to lose. Can they get a starter of quality? Probably not. A decent guy? Well, we'll see. A guy who could start a game in the postseason? Probably not. Probably not. But they can improve this bullpen. There's a lot of ways to do it. They have to do that, and they have now, obviously, the rest of this month to get all that done. But I would go out. Listen, they've gone out and knocked on McMahon's door before, and they have found the price tag expensive. I don't think they will anymore. And he, to me, is the right guy to target. Because if you think, you look at the Yankees all of a sudden, and then you got these lefty hitters who can turn around in Bellinger and Grisham and Dominguez from the left side and Rice and Chisholm and McMahon and Wells. And you say, oh, boy, I can't go in there and throw righties against those guys. They're going to launch ball after ball into the lower deck. What are you going to do, bring lefties in to face Goldschmidt, who kills lefties, and Judge and Stanton? Hey, let them solve those problems against that offense. That'll be an offense worth contending with. And listen, they're not going to make anybody happy with the leadoff spot because they don't have a definable leadoff guy. They don't have him. That's all there is to it. If Grisham's in the lineup, I would bat him leadoff. I'm figuring he's in the lineup against a right-handed pitcher, I would bat him leadoff. Left-handed starter, you can take your pick. It doesn't really make that much difference. They don't have the definable classic everyday leadoff hitter. They haven't for years. We've been calling for one for years. They still have not gotten that guy. But fix third and fix second by moving Chisholm there. It's time to say thanks to LeMahieu. That's all. Listen, no one escapes time. And he is now a problem. There were at least 2 balls today that he should have gotten to. At least 2, and maybe as many as 4 in this series overall. That's a lot. That's a lot. Or over the last couple of days when I've been watching. Even the last week, I've probably seen 4 or 5. It's too many. It's too many. Do I think he should have gotten to the Lindor single? He could have knocked it down. Should he have gotten the McNeil hit and turned it into an out? Absolutely. Absolutely. That should have been an out. And it could be a different inning there, 0-2 for Fried with the catcher, the light hitting catcher up, who bangs a single to center because there's a runner on first. Changes everything. Puts him in the stretch, changes his approach, everything else, comes in with a fastball because there's a runner on first, and gets a base at the center field. Now, Seattle and the Cubs. Not an easy week. Obviously, need to stabilize things. Don't expect them to get back to first place by the All-Star break. Probably not going to happen. Okay? They were in first place for a couple of months. It might take them a little more time to get back. That's not what's important right now. What's important right now is to get the team built the way it needs to be built for the rest of the season. Remember, after today, I think there's 72 games left. Right? This was the 90th game, I believe, right? So there's 72 games left. When they go to the All-Star break, that number will be in the 60s. They'll play 96 games by the end of the week. So there's a lot of baseball already under the bridge. It's time now to put the team the way you want it for August and September and beyond. And you do that in these the formative minutes and moments are building up towards the July 31st deadline. That's it. That's it. The evaluation process should have already been done. It should now be the procurement process. That's the time for that. It's the time for action. Now, for the Mets, we knew this was a game that they would have been giddy if they had ever been able to pull it out. They almost had a chance to. They made this a lot tougher game for the Yankees today than it probably ever should have been. If you had asked me before the game started today what I thought the score would be, I thought it would be 10-2 or something, not 6-4. So it was a lot tougher game than anybody thought. Now, the key for them is twofold. Let's deal with the easy part first, which is the lineup. They have got to commit. He's earned that commitment. They have got to commit to Vientos and hope that they can get him back on track. The injury didn't help. He did have some good swings, I thought, yesterday. He has been bad since he came back from the injury, but they need him desperately. You know, when you go up against that team 1, 2, 3, 4, and if you have a McNeil in the lineup and a Marte in the lineup and a Vientos swinging like Vientos, all of a sudden that lineup takes a very different look. The Mets have got to make a decision on what they're going to do with Taylor. You know, Taylor catches everything, but he is an automatic out. And the bottom of the Met lineup is too weak. You cannot have 1 through 5, and then, hey, we know we're dead till 1 comes back up again. It can't be that top heavy. I understand they got 4 players up there who have big numbers. I understand that. You got a great player in Soto. You got a great power hitter in Alonso. You got a great leadoff guy or top of the lineup guy in Lindor. And you got Nimmo, who's a very, very good offensive player. Those are 4 big-time offensive players, but you need more. There has to be more balance throughout the lineup. You can't have 3 or 4 automatic outs sprinkled in. And right now, that's the case. Vientos is number 1. decision on Taylor is number 2. Now, to the bigger part. They need some luck in the health department. They can't go out and get an entire rotation. One, they need Peterson to get back to being Peterson. Number 2, they've gotta get Senga and Manaea back. Now, Senga's gonna come back, and you don't question whether he can pitch or not. What you question is, can he stay healthy? The guy's never healthy. But you gotta get those 2. Do I think they can get any real thing out of Montas? I don't. Do I think they can get Peterson back on track? I do. I think with Peterson, probably what has happened is he had to assume a lot more responsibility the last couple of weeks, and maybe he found that something that was a little daunting for him. Instead of going unnoticed in the middle of the rotation, all of a sudden he was the, "Hey, we got Peterson tomorrow. We gotta win that game." The things that the guys at the top of the rotation always feel, and maybe that was a little much, maybe that pressed on him a little bit. Just a thought. They need to get him back. And let's be honest, they're gonna try a whole bunch of people through that pen. They have a great closer. Garrett blows hot and cold. Stanek can do the job. They have to go out, clearly add a starter. Maybe even try to add 2 starters. They're in desperate straits in the starting position. And they need help in the bullpen. So their help is so dramatically pitching. I think they can fill their needs from within. I don't think they need to go out and get a big bat. I think they can just go out and get a durable bat and be okay, because if they can get some innings and some games out of Marte with McNeil, who can play all different positions, and the big 4, and then hopefully salvage Alvarez, who continues to hit home runs in the minors, but has got to come up here and catch a whole lot better. That would improve their offense dramatically. And then it's about rebuilding the pitching. Plus, if Vientos ever gets back to being even close to what he was last year, that gives them another dynamic home run RBI bat, and they're fine. I don't think they have to go out and get a big bat. I do not think they do. Yankees need to go out and get a third baseman. He doesn't have to be a great player. He needs to be a solid player, an everyday player. I gave you one that I think fits the bill perfectly. And then it's about both of these teams stocking up on pitching, because that's going to be it. And you've seen what happens. I mean, the Met pitching, it's amazing that they even won 4 games in a row, considering what they have put out there from the pitching department. It's amazing that they held the Yankees to 6 runs today. It's probably amazing that they held them under 15 runs today with pitching after they put on the mound today. And they did. They did a pretty good job. They stayed in the game against the ace, and they got him out of the game early. So they did things pretty well, and they had a chance in those middle innings to steal this game. That Bellinger play made all the difference today. That wasn't a 1-star, 2-star, 3-star. That was a 5-star. That was as good a play as I've seen from an outfielder in years. Utterly brilliant. That's how good that play was. The Mets they cannot go out and get all these pitchers. They have got to get Manaea and Senga healthy. If they don't, they're going to struggle in the postseason. They'll probably get there, but they're going to struggle. If they're going to do anything this year, they have got to hit on a couple of acquisitions, and they have in the pitching department, and they have got to get Senga and Manaea healthy. Because otherwise, I just don't think there's enough pitching there to get the job done. Their offense, hey, going through that first 4 is no picnic. especially when Alonso's swinging about the way he is and the way he is with runners on base. I don't expect to see Soto bunting anymore. I mean, I still can't get over the shock of that myself. The guy had the highest OPS in baseball in the last 7 weeks, and he comes up first and second no out and he bunts. I mean, please. That one I'll not get over for a while. But hey, he did get bailed out in a big way when his teammate hits a grand slammer in the inning, makes everybody forget that. Like I said, results impact reactions. They always do. So, good couple of days for the Mets. They get 2 out of 3. Considering where they were last Monday, to beat the Brewers 2, to put together a 4-game win streak, to beat the Yankees 2 out of 3, you know what? They have to be very happy with that, but they have their work cut out for them. They go to Baltimore, they go to Kansas City. Supposedly, we're going to see Senga and Manaea later this week. That would be a step in the right direction. For the Yankees, hey, they cut the losing streak at 6. They need a good week at the stadium. Seattle, the Cubbies, will be a formidable challenge as we head towards the All-Star break. Once again, the Subway Series was pivotal. It really was. And I'll tell you, I say it all the time. It never, ever gets old. Ever. Never gets old. It's always, always fun. It's always exciting. The games always matter to this town. This town always takes a breath whenever it happens for it to happen, even on a holiday weekend, which is not the best time for it. But again, even on the holiday weekend, it was kind of nice to have these 3 games in the afternoons, the 3 days. And they were on local TV, which was kind of nice too. So you got to hear your own announcers, whatever you wanted to hear. I kind of skip back and forth because I like to get both viewpoints and see how different it is and stuff like that. So the Yankees, they can take a deep breath. The losing streak's over for a day, but both teams on this last week before the All-Star break, both teams have plenty of work to do. Plenty. Nothing here has been solved by either of them. See you later.